In a world where politics and sports often collide, the controversy surrounding Israel's potential exclusion from the 2026 World Cup has sparked significant debate. The Biden administration is actively working to prevent any measures that would see Israel banned from this prestigious tournament. Recently, Israel's involvement in global soccer has come under scrutiny as the United Nations issued a call for FIFA and UEFA, which oversee international and European soccer, respectively, to consider suspending Israel from their competitions. This plea has stirred a nationwide conversation about sportsmanship versus human rights. A representative from the U.S. State Department affirmed to The Athletic, "We are committed to ensuring that any attempts to exclude Israel's national soccer team from the World Cup do not succeed." This statement reflects a broader commitment to support Israel amid tensions resulting from the ongoing conflict in Gaza, which escalated following a Hamas attack on October 2023. During this tumultuous period, both national and club teams from Israel have continued to compete in FIFA and UEFA events, despite the ongoing violence. Currently, the Israeli national team is competing in the qualification rounds for the 2026 World Cup, where they find themselves in third place within their group of 5, striving for a spot in the tournament to be jointly hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico next summer. The World Cup draw is set to take place in Washington, D.C. on December 5th, which adds to the urgency surrounding their qualification. However, the extent of U.S. influence over FIFA and UEFA in regards to Israel's status remains somewhat ambiguous. When The Athletic inquired further, the State Department declined to provide additional insights. The recent statement from the United Nations accused Israel of facilitating what they described as an unfolding genocide in Gaza, a claim that the Israeli government vehemently disputes. Since the outbreak of violence in 2023, UEFA reassured that no competitions have been held in Israel, following a tragic series of attacks that claimed approximately 1,100 lives and resulted in around 250 individuals being taken hostage, according to official Israeli reports. Conversely, local health officials estimate that over 60,000 Palestinians have lost their lives due to Israeli ground operations in Gaza. On a related note, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia affirmed their recognition of Palestinian statehood recently, a stance met with disapproval by President Trump, who has expressed discontent with the shift in international opinions regarding Israel. So, what exactly did the UN declare? On Tuesday, independent human rights experts associated with the United Nations called upon FIFA and UEFA to take substantial action by suspending Israel from international soccer due to findings regarding alleged humanitarian law violations within the context of the Israel-Gaza conflict. The inquiry led by the UN suggests that there exists an intent among Israeli authorities to inflict serious harm upon the Palestinian people. Israel's foreign ministry responded robustly to these allegations, dismissing the UN report as distorted and inaccurate. Released shortly after the conflict intensified on September 16th, the statement from the human rights experts emphasized that sporting organizations should not overlook significant human rights breaches, particularly when their platforms contribute to normalizing such injustices. It's vital to remember that the call for a boycott should be directed towards the State of Israel, not individual athletes, the experts noted. They highlighted that while punitive measures against nations that commit serious rights violations are justified, citing Russia's ongoing suspension due to its conflict with Ukraine, individual players should not face repercussions based on their government's actions. Both FIFA and UEFA chose not to comment when approached for their response to the UN's declaration. This isn't the first time that the issue of Israel's participation in international soccer has surfaced. In April 2024, the Palestinian Football Association had previously urged FIFA to consider suspending Israel before the organization's annual Congress, where discussions about sporting ethics versus political realities often evoke strong emotions. PFA President Jibril Rajoub, speaking passionately at the Congress, urged FIFA to take a stand for justice in history and question whether certain wars and victims deserve more recognition than others. An official from the Israel Football Association, IFA, characterized this suspension effort as a cynical tactic devoid of genuine merit. While FIFA did not act to suspend Israel, it did launch investigations into claims that Israeli football entities breached its statutes, particularly regarding teams representing Israeli settlements in the West Bank and issues of discrimination from within the IFA. To date, these investigations have not reached any public resolutions. The Palestinian Football Association renewed their appeals at the 75th FIFA Congress, stating, "Our struggles are mired in a complicated bureaucratic quagmire." In recent months, surprising sentiments were echoed by IFA representatives who expressed astonishment that Israel still participates in international tournaments. It's almost miraculous that we remain involved in global competitions. Given the historical context of countries facing bans for far lesser offenses, noted Shlomi Barzel from the IFA's Public Relations Department. Israel's association with UEFA dates back to 1994, after being expelled from the Asian Football Confederation (AFC) in 1974 due to a series of boycotts. Presently, Israel vies for World Cup qualification through UEFA, having made past playoff appearances in Euro 2020 and Euro 2024, while domestic clubs remain part of UEFA events. However, UEFA games have not been held in Israel since the outbreak of renewed violence in October 2023, with the national team and club sides relocating home matches abroad. During an upcoming UEFA assembly, it is unlikely that Israel's status will be on the agenda, yet the topic still looms significantly on the international stage. Coupled with the controversy, Norway has announced that it will donate proceeds from its upcoming World Cup qualifier against Israel to humanitarian efforts in Gaza. The discourse doesn't stop there. Comparisons arise between Israel's situation and that of Russia, with voices like former Manchester United star Eric Cantona labeling the potential exclusion of Israel from international soccer a double standard when juxtaposed with how swiftly Russia was suspended following its aggressive actions in Ukraine. The chilling implication is that a ban against Israel would preclude them from participating in vital international competitions organized by both FIFA and UEFA, including the Men's and Women's World Cups, as well as the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League. Maccabi Tel Aviv is notably the only Israeli team involved in these three UEFA tournaments this season, further emphasizing the significance of this unfolding narrative. As we monitor these developments and their impact on global sports and politics, it raises an important question. Do you believe sports should remain apolitical? Or do you think they must address human rights issues head-on? Share your thoughts below.